When you got a hot pack and you're pulling some heat, Mike's around, chicken and cheese.
Chicken and cheese!
You're listening to the Funkatronic Rex podcast, where a few self-proclaimed piratical nerds running a friendly local game store discuss the board, card, and tabletop gaming community they love and serve. We tend to be the goofy, gregarious, and non-grindy gaming geeks of the community. Welcome. All right, gentlemen, we are here back at Funkatronic Rex podcast at Funkatronic Rex. We're going to talk about better gaming experiences, and we're going to do some fun segments today. We've got the usual crew plus one. My name is Court, for those of you guys who don't know. And to my left, I've got...
Michael. I'm an employee here.
It's always the minimal, just like, I sell you things. Employee here. Yep. And then the funk father himself to my right.
I'm the salt shaker. That's what I'm going with.
That's good. Mm-hmm. The salt shaker. Yep. And then across, and our guest of the evening, we've got Brett Harrison in the house. How are we doing, Brett?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
So
thanks for joining.
Yeah,
it's good to see you, sir.
Being here.
You know I like you guys.
I already tapped the table.
That's okay. I know. There it is. So many audio sins are being committed by a guy who was in the audio world.
Yep. That's what happens. What?
Okay. For those of you guys who don't know Brett, Brett is from the fantastic game company, Brexwerx. He and Lex have created Holotype, also known kind of around the store as the dinosaur game.
The dinosaur game. The science-based dinosaur
The science-based dinosaur
Yeah. I was
game.
like the better dinosaur game. Well, I mean, I haven't played the other one because this one's rad.
Yeah, and we know you guys, and
Yeah.
you've been Funk family forever.
For a long,
so.
Yeah, that's how Lex and I met here. And that's where, that's where Holotype was play tested and all that stuff. So this is our spot in our heart.
So then let's just jump into that a little bit. So for those who don't know you, I mean, most of our Funk family and friends here know you, even just by face because you're here every week playing board games and stuff. But talk a little bit about Holotype, your background, and how this kind of came about as being a gamer to game designer.
Okay. So yeah, I've always been a board gamer, RPG gamer ever since I was young. I like one of my first games was Car Wars and obviously D&D. Yeah, Car Wars
Car
big
Wars
time.
good, yeah.
And then I think one birthday I got Car Wars and Traveler.
I don't know Traveler.
It was an
I don't know either
RPG.
of
It was
those.
back in the 80s, and it was really it had vector calculations to determine if your missiles were going to hit other ships.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like math crazy, and it was like,
Let's go.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was like, oh, this will be cool, and then I started doing it. I was like, oh, this is way harder than school. I don't know how far we're going to get with this, but and then BattleTech and all that stuff.
Sure.
So was always doing that, and then went to college for computer science, so it kind of just led to the designing and stuff, and I was always doing game design on the side just for fun and stuff, and did a bunch of different things that really never went anywhere in computers and stuff like that. And then fast forward to I think probably 5 years ago is when I started coming here, and that's when I met Lex. Yeah, so we hit it off, and just within the board game group, that everybody was here and was really cool. And then when the pandemic hit, I was like, hey, Lex, you want to develop a board game that I've kind of had in the back of my mind for a while? And so I had the theme of, because all my background in school was electives were all geology and paleontology.
Oh,
So
wow.
I had a deep love for dinosaurs since I was a little kid. That was all the books I got. And
Sure.
stuff.
That's cool.
So yeah. And the cool thing was during the pandemic, I was cleaning my house, and I found an old library book from my grandfather at the LA library that's still overdue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, oops.
You've racked that one.
Yeah, he
for
gave it to
sure.
me when I was 6.
That's cool.
And it was an old book written in the 50s about dinosaurs. And that's what I was like, oh, yeah, it'd be great to do a science-based, and then talking it over with Lex, we came up with worker placement because we both loved Lords of Waterdeep and stuff. And then it just grew through there, and then started getting it all together, and then play tested it and going, yeah, that's not fun. That needs to change, that kind of stuff. So, and then just developed it and eventually went, let's publish this. So,
And then for anybody not familiar with Holotype, can you just give us the brief rundown?
Sure.
It's science-based dinosaur game, but it's more than that.
Yeah, it's a worker placement game where you're playing as paleontologists, and you're going out and you're digging up fossils, and you're doing research, and you're publishing papers on dinosaur species and stuff to get victory points, basically. So when person who publishes most dinosaurs wins, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But everything in the game has been, it's all real dinosaur specimens. All the formations you go to in the cards are like real formations that when they appeared in Colorado, or the Morrison Formation, all that kind of stuff has all been fact checked by paleontologists to be as accurate as possible.
Wow. So you're learning, if you so choose, to kind of absorb this material too, as you're playing.
If you like that aspect of it, you're going to love that detail, because it's like who published it, what the name really means in Latin, where they're found. There's a little map on the card of where they're found. But mechanically, it's just a worker placement game where you're going out getting resources, different cubes, and so it's a good worker placement game, whether you like that kind of stuff or not, and it plays really fast.
So for me, this game lands on a couple of the things you just said. It's simple in its
light strategy, worker placement.
Yeah, like there's not a whole lot of depth. Your turns should conceptually go quickly, and that works for my ADD. I don't want to wait 15 minutes around the table. No, a turn around the table is like 5 minutes, if that.
Not even that. Sometimes it's so quick, it's like 10 seconds later, it's like, it's my turn already? I
think the learning games we've played, because I'm constantly refreshing myself.
Right.
But those 5 minutes tops.
Yeah, and it's so table. Like we've taught demos to people, and a 5-player game of it is like, under an hour and a half, and then 5 players learning.
Sure.
So once you know how to play the game, like it's 20 minutes per player tops.
I think we played it at Gamma within an hour.
Yeah.
With another new player, and it was the second time I'd played it, but it was months detached. We hadn't played it, and we'd played it in a trial version, like in a prototype version before that. Whereas at Gamma, it was finalized by then. No, great game. Can't say enough. Like I really enjoy it. It's one of those games where you come out feeling smarter because, there's actual factual information on all of this. Imagine a Pokemon card where it has all those fake stats about the Pokemon. Okay, it's like that, except all of this is real stuff. When the dinosaur was found, what era it lived in, and you don't need that mechanically, but it's definitely something rad to read while you're waiting for your turn, I've played this a couple times before, but before I was just playing the game. Now I'm actually, look at this. This is cool. Across the board, these guys did a really good job of, and I don't want to diminish at all, but I think you took a lot of good things that we've seen in other games before and just really tightened them up and made them your own. One of my favorite mechanics is we were talking about good mechanics we've seen in games before. Yeah. One mechanic that I really like in Holotype that I haven't seen in any other worker placement game is you have 3 different size meeples, and there's a little meeple. He's like a research assistant. There's a medium meeple is your grad student, and then there's the big meeple. That's you, the professor, like
paleontologist,
the paleontologist yourself, right? Depending on the size of the meeple is how potent their effect when they go to a space is. So, and not only that, but it combines nicely with, the game has a bump action where
we call it the bumpy mechanic.
The bump mechanic, thank you. Where, I've played other worker placement games where you put a guy on the spot, and now that spot is closed to the table until the round is over and we reset. Well, in this one, depending on the size of your meeple, you can bump other meeples depending on the size of theirs.
There's like an authority difference.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And we call it the hierarchy chart.
Yeah,
so it's basically if you're the same size or bigger, you can bump that other worker out.
Yeah,
sure.
And it's very satisfying because it's balanced. It's one of the most satisfying balanced mechanics in the game because I get to bump you out of that spot, so you haven't closed it off to me. I can still do what I want, but I've also given you a free action of, now I've got another meeple that I get to replace without having to recall my meeples. Mm-hmm. They took a lot of good ideas and just tightened them up, made them a little bit more refined, and I can't speak highly enough of the game.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to play the next expansion.
Oh, Europe, yeah. So that expansion just finished mass production. So this week it's logistically getting on boats, and that's the logistics nightmare of the publishing side.
Right.
Yeah, that was my next question: is what's coming up next? So
So that is an expansion. That's our first continental expansion for Holotype, because Holotype, the first base game, is just North America. Yeah. So it's just North American formations, dinosaurs, and all that kind of stuff. So this expansion is Europe. So it's just European dinosaurs and formations and that kind of stuff, but it's adding some new mechanics and that kind of stuff. So, but it's just added to it, and you can just play it with the, components from the base game and stuff like that.
Cool.
And then we have another card game that's coming along we published the same time, called 8-Leg Peacock, which is a really fast, so it's about spiders. So
I was hoping.
I like the misnomer.
Yeah, 8-legged peacock, because there's these spiders in Australia called peacock spiders. And if you look them up on YouTube, they're like smaller than your fingernail.
I gotta look it up now.
But they're these gorgeous, their mating dance is this gorgeous thing where the males put their legs and their abdomen up.
Mike is shimmying right now. Yeah.
And it's actually scientifically, like, the term for that dance is the rumble rump.
Oh.
So that's a move in the game, is the rumble rump.
Dude,
hey,
I'm
girl,
looking
you
at
see
this
my
thing.
rumble rump?
This is crazy. I'll post pictures in the show notes if you guys, if you want to check it out. But
yeah,
I've never seen this in my life.
Yeah, and they're super, and there's so many different species of it, and they're only in Australia, I think. And so we made a little match and draft card game that is basically you're matching the little dance moves on the males up with what the females are looking for for mating tokens.
Sammy, are you paying attention to this?
Yeah, so it'll be that's coming out the same thing. So both of those will get on boats, and then they're on their way.
That's fantastic. I love it. Good deal. Yeah, we could definitely drool over Holotype like for an entire episode. It's super fun. Yeah, so if you guys are interested in Holotype, you can go on, what's the website that we should be checking out?
BrexWorxGames.com.
Brexwerx, BREX, and WERX, right?
Yeah, Brexworx.
BrexWorxGames.com. We have store copies for sale, and we have a store copy to come out and play, because we love teaching this game. It gets played quite often. I know it's a fan favorite with a bunch of our friends here. So thank you again, and yeah, check out Holotype. Cruising forward, got some news and upcoming. As I've been saying before, we've got the 40K campaign kickoff May 25th. It is Whispers of the Deep is what we're calling it. No, it's called Whispers from the Deep.
This sounds Cthulhu, not 40K.
Yeah, no, it's Whispers from the Deep. Yeah, there's a little mystery action going here. I'm not going to give away too much, but I'm excited. It's one that I'm writing, and it'll be a 6-week campaign, slow grow narrative style. So every other Saturday we're going to be playing, and then points will increase starting at 750 and going all the way to 2K. I know for a fact we've got at least 3 like brand new players.
Ooh.
3 brand new players.
I have a chance.
Yes, Mike, you're in. I know this. Your spot is secured.
I'm painting.
You're painting?
My army's almost painted. Well, I have been painting.
Okay.
And so my army is almost done. I just have to finish.
Dang.
Because I'm playing the Chaos Space Marines that I've been working on for like 9 months.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you're not doing knights then. You'll probably throw a knight in there, like a little
I don't know
knight.
that I will.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I'm going to obliterate the heck out of them.
Pun. I know what you're doing. Anyways. We interrupt this episode to give you guys something a little unique and interesting. In previous episodes, we mentioned the 7-year anniversary party for Funkatronic Rex. And well, we had it. On May the 4th, may the 4th be with you, we celebrated 7 years of Funkatronic Rex games and more. We had sales, prizes, games, raffles, giveaways, fun, food, everything. And many of you guys came to hang out and show your support and love for the funk. I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to have your voice heard, so many of you braved the microphone and answered a simple question. What is Funkatronic Rex to you? Well, here are some of your wonderful answers. Take it away.
To me, Funkatronic Rex is community, family, and a place where I can go and I know I'm supported with whatever might be happening. Good, bad, fun, not so fun days. Yeah, but it's a place I can go to for support and it's also a place to find new things. Always exciting. Because we embrace each other, we share the things that we like. So people bring what they love, and I talk to them and bring it out.
Funkatronic Rex, to me, I would say the best way to describe it is community. We are all here to help each other and make each other better at gaming. And that's the best part, is we're all having fun, enjoying each other's company and playing games at the same time. It's perfect. Absolutely love it. I love the fact that we can come here and we get, a great intro. We know people here. They know us. We're all like just hanging out, having fun. It's almost like a distant relative family reunion, You're just hanging out. We all have our own separate things out of here, but when we come together, it's all about gaming. It's all about having fun. It's all about respecting each other, and let's just have some fun. Let's do this.
It's like a family. Like, me personally, I don't participate in most of the hobby stuff anymore, but I'm still here because you guys are, like, cool.
What kept me coming back to Funkatronic is the people that, play here and the people that, work here. I mean, they truly care about you as a person, and, they ask, how you doing in life, what's going on, and it's just a lot of fun to come up here and play with all the different people because it's like a family. This is like a home for me. This is, to me, probably the best gaming store I've ever been to.
It's been a place that both my boys, my husband and my son, have been coming here. When my son was old enough, Vaughn learned how to do Magic of Gatherings, and I was telling somebody when growing up he had a slight reading problem, and doing this helped him learn to read better and everything, and the guys here welcomed him with open arms, and it's a great place, and you guys always make us feel welcome, and it's great. You guys are awesome. So thanks for having us part of the Funk family and everything. It's great.
It's simple. You can't spell Funkatronic without fun.
Funk is that local game store where it does not matter what day I come in, it is nothing but incredible vibes. I walk in and everyone is excited. It's a family. You walk in and there is just warmth and happiness and actual joy to see one another.
It's fun. It's friendly. I didn't come here first. It was my partner, and I'm happy that he's found such wonderful friends in the store and that you're even nice to me. I mean, I don't come in here for stuff. I just drop off baked goods. But I'm happy that he's found friends here and people who support his goals, his hobbies and stuff, and that you guys are so nice and opening, and it's a truly wonderful store. It's very beautiful. I love the decorations, the atmosphere. It's a wonderful place. It's a good community. I'm a small community kind of gal. It's already a wonderful place.
Funkatronic Rex is a place to get games, as the kids would say, to hang out with friends, to do some good stuff, to perhaps learn a new hobby, and to make a lot of new friends and connections.
It is a community that I share lots of things that I love and has exposed me to new things that I would not have necessarily tried because somebody said, hey, why don't you come play with us on this thing? And that was really meaningful to me at a time in my life when I was really seeking human connection. In that regard, it's not just a store. It really is a place where I could come and be myself and feel comfortable and try new things and not feel self-conscious about trying new things and not being good at them, and having other people help me and feel really open and welcoming about that. And so that was something I was really personally seeking when I first started coming in with you guys, and originally came as a customer and then stayed for everything else. And so that's really what the store means to me. So yeah, I just would really encourage, if anyone is seeking a place where maybe they don't feel welcome in other places, or they've sort of felt shunned or not, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or oh, I can't do that, but they've always wanted to try, to just come by and somebody here will help you, and somebody here will invite you to play, and you can never feel like scared or nervous about that, because there's no one here at the store who would ever turn someone away who's asking for a place to be. And so that's, yeah.
It's a safe space, especially for new people. Because, like, for me, I didn't know anybody, moved to the area, didn't know how nerdy I was until I came here. And it was a good place for, like, needing to feel that, like, safety, like, you're okay to be who you are. And this is a place for that. And I have not met a single person here that doesn't care about each other, are so understanding and willing to help regardless. To find that anywhere is hard. And to have that quality as, like, again, yeah, sure, this is a store. Sure, you sell things, but it's more than that.
Once again, a big thank you to you guys for coming out and supporting 7 years of Funkatronic Rex with us. It was a wonderful day, and we were so proud to have you guys there celebrating with us. You are such a big part of the community, and we can't do this without you, so another big thank you to all. And without further ado, back to the episode. So pushing into hobby highlight, Brett, is there anything you're working on? I mean, obviously you've been working on the games, putting out new games.
So the main thing on the game side is just dealing with all the logistics and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then there's other designs that we're working on, always in the back and stuff like that. But for me lately, I've just been playing the normal board games that we do, doing a lot of legacy stuff. So we've been super loving Pandemic Legacy.
Oh, okay.
Doing season 0 with a new group and just going through that, and did the whole Legacy Ticket to Ride, which was a ton of fun.
Yeah, I heard that was really good.
Yeah, it was really well
and it's
done.
Been sold out. I got to see if they restocked it yet, but it's sold out.
Yeah, that one's a blast.
Legends of the West, is that what it's called?
I think so, yeah.
It really puts our stuff in perspective when you're like, yeah, I'm just game designing and coming out with new stuff. And like, Michael's like, I'm just waiting for 4.0. And here I am like, I got some terrain to paint.
I'm building a magic deck.
Building a magic, yeah. That's rad. Yeah, I swore I would never paint terrain again. But of course, Kasner, big shout out, buddy. But he comes to me and he's like, hey, I've got some small pieces. Like, do you want to just paint some more terrain? He's like, I said, look, I've pretty much sworn it off from the last project you gave me, which was very simple, but so just draining because it was big pieces. It was Warhammer terrain. I was painting every little wire and all that stuff. Ugh. And he's like, well, it's just minimal. Like, look, I've got this like crane. Like, okay, cool. I got barrels and whatnot. Yeah, we could do that. It's like scatter terrain and whatnot. He said, okay, I'll just drop it by tomorrow. I said, great. I come in. And I was like, hey, where's the terrain that Kasner left? Oh, it's over there. Okay. It's 2 fucking tubs. It's 2 like big
tubs of terrain.
Big tubs of terrain. And here's one. Hang on.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah, that's not a small amount at all.
No, this was half of it.
And there's some detail in there.
There is detail in there. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I chose like 3 small pieces, 3 or 4 small turret things that'll be really cool to paint. I was like, I will do that. That is for somebody else, which I think Hiroko might take on.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was painting.
She's painting.
Cool.
Yep. Our lead DM, our master of DMs for D&D is doing commission work. So anyways, yeah, she's going to probably take that on. So I'm excited.
If you're the master of the DMs.
You're the MDM.
I was thinking
Dungeon
Meister.
Like
Dungeon Master squared?
Ooh, DM squared.
DM squared.
I like that.
Yeah, because you'd be the DMM, but yeah,
no,
DM squared.
The DM squared.
Yeah. There it is.
Nailed it.
Boom. Got it.
Thanks, Brett.
No problem.
Yeah. So, Mike, you're building stuff? That's your hobby
this
highlight?
is just incidental. I'm just doing homework because I've got pretty bad ADD and I just want to be doing something because I can't sit still. I think my real hobby highlight, which I'm really satisfied about, and I want to like, not even humble brag, guys. I got to tell you, Michael and I are rad. I got 386 points yesterday, and if you don't know what that means, you just inquire, just ask. But I got 386 points from doing one of my other favorite hobbies, playing with power tools. I had a blast. With Michael's help. We installed a new front window into my house yesterday. Phenomenal.
That's hobby highlight worthy.
Dude,
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
It's major terrain.
Thank you.
That's a huge piece of terrain.
The painting, just like with the miniatures, is something that I am slow to do. I am not a fan of painting.
Sure.
But the window is in. my house is sealed up. And we have a new window in my. Thank you, Michael. Thank you again,
Good job, Michael.
And I don't know if Michael came away with the same feeling, but it's been a while. I grew up in tech theater. In high school, I did a lot of tech theater. I went to ASU for a year as a theater major, and I learned all that ASU had to offer in my short time there, because it was a very limited tech program. They had a great theater program at the time, not a good tech program. It was all about actor and like getting a production together. But the tech was kind of like, oh, my high school taught me a lot of this, but I love power tools. And it is so satisfying. It's another skill. And it's like, it's really nice to know I have this. I feel more capable with power tools than I do a paintbrush. And legitimately, I feel like my results playing with power tools end up better than my results playing with a paintbrush. And I had a great day yesterday, 386 points. Thank you very much, Michael.
No, it was fun.
Good job.
It was
These
right?
are Fitbit points, by the way,
And
just for those that don't know.
Michael's been helping me. We want to knock some stuff out before summer gets too hot, but like I had a window sitting that needed replacing, and God, I mean, big smile.
He's grinning.
It was a heavy window.
Now I'm thinking of windows at my place. If you're that happy,
See, here's the thing. I'm doing this work because I priced out this work.
It's crazy.
It is expensive. So if you want to pay me to do your windows, we can talk.
I recently moved, and the house needed work and all that kind of stuff. It's amazing to me how expensive is stuff to get done, and then when you do pay that, you look at the result, and you're like, "That's your cock job." Like I could, my finger, like I do a better job, you know. And it's amazing to me. It's like I'd be embarrassed to ask for money for that paint job or that, you know, install sometimes.
Yeah. You know, I've had a similar experience with contractors, and in this store, in fact, a story for another time. Okay. Ask me about the floor near the back exit. Anyways, this contractor experience that we've had in common, I would say almost equates to pro-painted.
I was just thinking that. I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I've made a lot of Craigslist and or Facebook like contractor. You know, a lot of people, a lot of small contractors don't necessarily have a big blown up website, because I don't have the skills to make a website. I had to find somebody to do that for me. So but hey, they also offer the best price, and you find that you get what you pay for, and sometimes what you get is a big stain on the back of your floor. That, you know, getting older is fun, man.
I feel like we're way off the rails on this, but that's fine. That's fine. It's all good.
It's a celebration.
It is. Yeah, and it's funny because pro-painted's gotten a little bit of attention in around the store, so that one might be up for debate if we're going to continue on.
Wait. Let's. We're on it. Let's get on it.
Let's get on it. We're going to talk about pro-painted.
So from the jump, this is on me, I think. This is on me.
I don't know, dude.
Well, I mean, it's obviously not just me, because I'm not the only one with it in mind, but I think I was the first one to kind of ring the bell, like, I just don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
We recorded the first episode, and I am very terrified yet kind of poke the bear mocking of the notion of cancel culture and the PC reality that we live in. And I do both. I fear it, and I like to
just provoke it a little bit.
I provoke it. You know, I know who I am, and if you know who I am, you know how I am. So I respect the danger inherent in the more public you become about anything, right? This podcast is a stretch for us. It's now we can meet people that haven't necessarily met us.
Sure.
And I can own that I am a salty pill of a person, and I can talk about this, but I don't want to necessarily show it in actions or in statements without having a back end like conversation with whoever might receive it incorrectly.
Sure.
To at least explain, look, I'm poking and I'm saying truth, but I am also like I appreciate that, like, hey, this is just my opinion. And I'm really, more than anything, I'm aware of and not trying to hurt any feelings.
No.
I feel like we all have a right to an opinion, and specifically, this is just our opinion about, more than anything, semantics.
Yeah.
And if you're going to call a thing pro-painted, then that's all we're getting at. We are not clowning on anybody's paint job. We don't want you to think we are in any way suggesting anything beyond, we think your verbiage is wrong.
Yeah.
You know? That's it. That's my piece. I really don't want to offend anybody.
No.
So the conversation went further, and some other people have brought it to our attention. Like, some people love it. And honestly, I get that, because there's some comedy to be found in these pro-painted paint jobs. Some people have also pointed out, like, it seems a little mean-spirited. And I get that.
Yes.
And I don't want to, like, I can be mean-spirited. I want you to know, and I will be in your face as another human being. I'm being mean-spirited. You will know why you deserved it, and or the aftermath will make it clear. Not just like I'm throwing mean-spiritedness to the universe. And I don't know that that's necessarily a distinction that matters to everybody, but that distinction matters to me. And so I think we are all capable of throwing shade. We throw right now with pro-painted and with, I think, the tone of the pirate ship we run here. Our shade comes with the knowledge that we are absolutely not perfect people. We have our own faults. We are completely, dude, you have so much ammo to throw shade at me, and you have every right to. And I don't know, all of this, again, comes from a bit of a paranoia and like a fear of, I do not want to feel the aftermath, the bite of offending anybody that is minded that way. Because to me, anybody that is minded that way, that would take offense to my jabs at verbiage, is minded differently enough for me, has a different enough worldview that I can't anticipate what you might take from where I'm coming from, because we are just coming from different places. So this is both like a preemptive apology and an explanation that we're going to continue thinking about pro-painted.
Yeah.
We're going to, maybe I'll do my homework again and find some funny ones, and it'll be worth hitting you guys up with some pictures. Maybe we have a conversation and we say, this leads to too much liability for looking like jerks.
Yeah.
I don't need any more help with that. I look like a jerk a lot of the time, So again, guys, we appreciate, and we are keeping in mind, we're aware of what you say to us. It's still our pirate ship. We will run it how we want to. But we are aware, and we mean no offense. Boom.
There it is. That was it.
Sometimes I'm good at my job.
It is. Yeah. And with that, I'm going to just close out a bit of the hobby highlight, because I had two that were very important to me, and I think show the true nature of Funkatronic Rex and the true Funk family vibe here. My two hobby highlight moments had nothing really to do with me per se, as far as like building an army or deck building or whatever it was. A buddy of the shop, Chris, who was doing the Age of Sigmar campaign, came in, and he does like stitch work. I'm probably not saying this right, but he makes patches, like handmade patches.
That's cool.
Stitches them up and everything. Like, it's crazy. And he had heard the podcast and knew that I started with Space Wolves in 40K, and had made a stitched patch of a Space Wolf Space Marine helmet.
That's dope.
And gave it to me.
That's
and he's
dope.
like, I want you to have this. It was so cool. And he's got a ton of these. He's got like Khorne Berserkers. He's got Guard. He's got all these different like really cool Warhammer stitch work that is. I was like, how long does something like this take? He's like, oh, it's not long, like 30 hours or something. I was like, what?
30?
I may be making that number up. It was something crazy where it was like, this is way beyond like hobbying on a single model.
Dude, that's something though. So, that's some like store champion prize material
for
right
sure.
there. Like
So
that's
custom.
where they're like, Chris, we're gonna be talking about some trade for your wares.
I think so.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then the second one happened, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, what's today, Sunday? Yeah, it happened yesterday. Dude came in with his wife, He came in and he goes right up to me. I was like, hey, man, what brings you in today? And he looked me dead in the eyes and he goes, I want to get into Warhammer. And I looked at him, and this was kind of a risky move on my part, but I looked at him, I said, look me in the eyes again and say it slower. That's awesome. I was so excited. This guy just came in. He's like, look, man, I want to jump into Warhammer. I was like, wow, let's talk. And I spent like 30-something minutes, maybe 40 minutes with him, just going back and forth, looking at Age of Sigmar versus 40K. He wasn't sure which one he wanted to play. He just knows he wanted in the hobby.
Yeah.
It was so cool. Aladdin, if you're listening to this is you, buddy. And we just looked at boxes. Oh, what the rule of cool? You know, what do you think looks cool?
Right.
What do you like? You know, because he's so unfamiliar with the rules, he just wants to build cool things.
That's the way to go.
Boom.
Absolutely.
And he walked out with, he had Grey Knights.
Okay.
He had primer, like 5 different paints, brushes. He was ready to go. I gave him one of the free Space Marine minis that we got as just promo stuff. He was stoked, man. And I think he's going to play in the campaign.
Nice.
But just that I could like help him out. Like, here you go, man. Now you're in this hobby. And we had an applause throughout the store because I was like, we got him. He's in 40K.
Yes.
He's hooked. So cool.
Tangent. Grey Knights are the ones that are like anti-witch powers, like anti-psychers?
Demon hunters, basically.
Demon hunters. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
They used to be, the codex was demon hunters.
And they have that big like Terminator suit thing that like on steel.
Yeah, the baby Bjorn.
Yeah, that thing's...
Yeah, it looks like a baby carrier. Yeah, they're the demon hunters. They're basically like the paladins of 40K.
Right on.
But he was like, these look cool. I was like, they are cool. And they look good to paint very simply.
Oh, yeah.
Like you knock them out really well. So, yeah.
Right on. Welcome to the hobby.
There you go, Aladdin. Welcome in, bud. All right. Moving forward, what's in the case? We're going to highlight some Magic decks here. Michael, what do we got in the case world?
Okay, so there's a bit of a cheap answer because I think this was mentioned in a previous episode, but it was a deck that I was building as we were recording.
Okay.
But it's getting finally scanned up, and it's a blue-black Dimir Zombies deck.
Oh, this is Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we're calling it, right?
Ooh, I like that as a name.
Also,
Okay.
one of the cards that stood out because this subject is very close to me because I think one of my first commander decks was a zombie deck because, who doesn't want to play zombies?
Sure.
The card Endless Ranks of the Dead.
Yeah.
That card
yeah.
is awesome flavorfully and it has a great name. So shout out to Endless Ranks of the Dead.
Read it out just for any non-Magic players or players of Magic that aren't familiar with it.
4-drop enchantment,
Okay,
right?
let's see.
2 black and 2 other. At the beginning of your upkeep,
You put half.
create a zombie, 2/2 zombie token equal to half the number of zombies you control.
Yep,
That's
round it
basically
down.
it.
That's
Let's
pretty
go.
much it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so you're just exponentially growing your zombies, and
So,
then you
again,
throw Army of the Damned in there,
Yeah.
or Army of the Dead.
Yep.
Boom.
13 zombies.
13.
I almost won with that today with a Yara.
Oh, yep.
Ping engine. And that was like,
Ooh, I have that in the IRO deck.
they were
for
at
that
like
reason.
15 life. And it's like, I can almost get them there, but not quite.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's in the case? We've officially got Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead.
Cool. Dig it.
Again, great card.
Yep. So this is one that we're just going to move through quickly. We've kind of briefly talked about the fun little side game we play here on a Nat 20. Brett, I don't know if you're familiar with this. Whenever you hear us yell out, and
I
like,
have
on a
heard this
Nat 20.
occasionally. Yes, occasionally.
Okay. So yeah, on a Nat 20, we've kind of mentioned it. We have a beautiful old school D20 back behind the register there. And whenever we're feeling a little saucy and spicy, we like to make a statement. On a Nat 20, this happens. Boom. Law has to happen. We've talked about it. Jared is in for like 3 tattoos. I have to come in wearing a dress one day. Yep.
Alex is though.
This is the one.
This is the one. Yeah.
So, Mike, why don't you preempt, start the story, and I'll take over where I go.
You know what? I don't even know how it started. All of a sudden, like, no. He comes up. You got to start the story.
Okay.
You got to tell the story.
Okay.
I just have an addition.
So we've got pods playing, and then I think Jared just starts singing.
It was the boy band start.
Tell me why.
Yeah, it was right when I walked in. I had just walked in the store, and 5 minutes later, they're boy banding at the table. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's no boy banding here. 80s music is one thing. Boy banding? I'm not, no.
Yeah.
That's
and then
all I
Alex
remember.
jumps in. He starts singing
he's
too.
singing
And
with
there's like weird harmonies happening. They're both singing.
Oh, my.
And then so Mike's so just frustrated with this. I think I walk over, I grab the D20 and I go, Alex, on a nat 20, I shoot a music video of you in a boy band, just you though. Ready? Boom. Nat 20.
No
Got
way.
it. So we are going to shoot a music video starring Alex as a solo act boy band.
That's amazing.
So the part that really struck me is once he said that, it like light bulb moment in my head. And I look up and across the counter, the customer that was here had the exact same light bulb, and he beat me to it when he said, no, what you need to do is you need to film him, then film him in a different position in a different outfit doing the same routine, then do that like 5 times and then merge them together so that you have 5 different Alexes in different gear all dancing the same routine. And like that's the boy band video. And I was thinking the exact same thing right when you said that. I was like, yeah, we got to just comp 5 Alexes together and we're there.
Yeah.
That's the video. It's happening.
It's happening. It's happening.
This might be the culmination of a year's worth of podcasting might culminate in the video as like that's the drop.
I think this is it could be a Patreon reward after a year, but it could be just an anniversary. Like, here you go. We told you we were going to do it. Here's Alex's music video. And I'm toying with the idea of writing the song.
Okay.
What do you got?
Yeah, definitely. It has to be.
Oh, so you're writing like you're saying straight Turning Red, the Disney movie with the Billie Eilish's brother did all the music for it. I don't know if you know this movie.
See it, but
it's a good Disney movie. I have daughters again. I got to preface because like, look, I'm not watching Disney movies about coming of age. I watch darker stuff than that. I'm sorry, and there's no lasers.
It's not a trilogy. We don't have to worry about it.
Anyways, the music for Turning Red is all Billie Eilish's brother. Connor, whatever. And and he's written all this boy band music. Like in the movie, there's a boy band called Four Town, even though there's 5 of them. And there's like 3 different songs in the movie that legitimately sound like 90s, 2000 boy band hits.
Okay.
But they're written by Billie Eilish's brother. So yes, you should do something similar.
I think so.
Because I don't want to hear boy band music, but it's really interesting hearing like a non-parody, just like a new updated version, like vaporwave music.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly.
it's new 80s music. What the hell's going on? This is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, there's no nostalgia to it, but it still hits. So yes, boy band it up.
I think we're gonna write it. And I feel like we're constantly writing songs here. You're always singing, doing
my
something.
lyrics are always the same.
And I liked the one I did yesterday. It was like, when you got a hot pack and you're pulling some heat, mics around, chicken and cheese.
Chicken and cheese.
It was just in the moment. Happened. It's good. It's good. And there we go. So that's the update on what we got to do with On a Nat 20. Okay, we are going to hit our main topic now. So this is going to be one I'm excited for. I kind of toyed with the idea and wasn't sure how to formulate this and kind of make it a obvious concept, but we'll get there. So it's called Outside the Box, Better Gaming Experiences. With this, the question is, how do you enhance your gaming experience? You're playing a board game, you've got the rules, everything, you sit at the table, you probably got some Cheez-Its and Mountain Dew or whatever it is, but how do you enhance the experience of the game itself? Not necessarily like game etiquette, but do you have a specific music playlist that you played for this game because it brings out the vibe? Do you use any house rules that kind of overwrite any sort of mechanics in the game to make it more fun? Or, this one just doesn't really work and we seem to have more fun by doing it this way. Do you dress up as your favorite character? I mean, why not? Manny and I did that for Unmatched. What are some of the things that you can add to the game to expand upon the vibe of the game, the better experience that you can have playing a simple board game or card game? I know it's a heavy concept, but I'm excited to see if we can expand personally upon what we do to make a standard board game more fun. Let's do this. I've got a list of each game that I'm really into and ways that I like to make it enhanced a little bit. But my overall, start there and then I'll toss it back and forth a little bit. But so overall, when I'm teaching a new game or it's a game that other players aren't familiar with and whatnot, give a flavored overview. We easily always get into mechanics. This is how it plays. Oh, it's it's a Euro game with this style. Oh, it's cooperative, whatever. It's the deck builder. But I think it's more fun to give a flavored overview when we talk about one of my favorite games, The Thing, Infection at Outpost 31. It's literally the John Carpenter film in a box. If somebody hasn't seen that movie, so we got to take it a step beyond. Okay, you're these scientists that you're stuck in Antarctica. There is a life form that has kind of breached its way into your encampment, and it perfectly replicates a human. We do the story kind of version. Get them submerged into what the theme is. Then when you're playing this, it's not just mechanic and turn-based. You're kind of seeing things as it happens. Oh, we needed to get this item. Oh, you've got the flamethrower. Sick. Oh, it does this. Okay. So giving a flavored overview, what is the game thematically, not just mechanically? The who, what, where, when, why are we doing this? What are we in this game? I think is very important. Second thing I like to do is it's very simple and it gets overlooked all the time, and sometimes it really bugs me. Read the flavor text. I think it's one. I know, Mike. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not even like hating. Like I don't disagree. I don't disagrry.
But it's just so
I
obvious.
wouldn't have thought of that. I wouldn't have thought.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, there's so much flavor text on so many cards. I don't think to read it because I kind of assume the opposite. Nobody wants to hear all this. Like,
I think it differs like in Magic. You're probably not reading flavor text. But,
But no, in Arkham when we played that, we did.
Yeah, the living card game, that's all like that builds the whole like feel and vibe of everything.
Sure.
So
I agree.
Or even sometimes like I'll see players like skip the card title. They won't even read the title of the card. They just like, oh, you're exhausted. You skip a turn. Okay, well, what's the name of the card? Read the card title, read the flavor text. And these aren't things you always have to do, but if you want a little bit of a more thematic game, you got time for it, read your cards. As my arm always says, tattooed, read your cards. Simple, obvious one, play appropriate music. When we're playing Fury of Dracula, I play the music. When we're playing other, Lord of the Rings, play the score. If you can. If you're in the game store, obviously it's a little different, but if you're able to host and kind of bring in ambient music that way, I think it adds to it, which we'll jump into as well. But phones away, as I'm staring at my phone reading this list, but we're not playing it. But phones away, like there's always like one guy at the table who's like just checked out, like, flipping through Instagram or whatever it is. It gets to his turn. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry guys. Yep. What are we doing? Whose turn is it? What's going on? Like, phones away. That enhances it for everybody. I think that's a little more like game etiquette, but that's an easy one. And then the last thing I have overall before we kind of pass it around and deep dive is something that you may not be able to control, but the right size table.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah.
If you're playing something that takes up huge table space and you're crowded and you've got your Pringles and you've got your, Red Bull and whatnot, and everything's so crammed and it's overwhelming visually, it's hard to play that game sometimes. Or things are stacked over each other and the board state just looks like garbage. Finding the right size table is big. And I know that sounds very like, well, just get a bigger table, man. Build your own table. And I have literally.
Easier said than done.
It is. Yeah. But you got Power Tool Mike over here ready to build something.
Yeah. You still only have so much square footage in a game store.
That's true.
Hence, how often do we reorganize the room?
Oh, for sure.
Let's see if we can fit more over here. Does this suit the knights better like this? Like,
see, I was waiting for like the tables of the right size that just descend on chains.
Like Frankenstein or something just coming down.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like I'll see people post up on the small round here and I know they're going to get crammed. And we've got high tops available. Like, hey guys, bring it to a high top. Like you can play out here and it'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah, and then some are better on that if it's like a real llama or something like that, where you're just like 4 people just need a smaller space because everybody's reaching across kind of thing.
Yeah, you're not trying to read a card from across the table kind of thing. Yeah, far. Cool. So do you guys have any ideas specifically or what you like to do? Michael, I know you're not a huge board gamer, but do you have anything that kind of comes to mind?
Yeah, so mine is going to be more towards like the wargaming side of like miniatures and whatnot, because I truthfully do not play too many board games. I was specifically quieter at the first start of this episode, because like I have no idea how Holotype plays and whatnot. So I was just sitting there like, oh, cool. I get to ingest all this information for myself. I also didn't know that you met Lex here. That's
that's
cool.
No
I had no idea.
Funkatronic Rex is why Holotype and Brexwerx exists.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
Literally, yes.
No, that's just the happenstance.
Well, we wouldn't have met.
We don't know that.
Oh, that's true.
You might have met at a different game store. Yeah, right? The multiverse is large.
All right.
But yeah, I like to incorporate kind of like narrative things to my games. And that's why I like when we design these narrative campaigns, because it's kind of like all you get to do. And it's like, cool, you get to draft your story however you want. Your army gets to do whatever they want and whatnot. If anything, I feel like it would be better if that part of it got more explored when we do our campaigns, because I feel like, not in a bad way, but some players are there just to play, and like I get that, but story and whatnot. So yeah, I like to, whether it's I'm playing a game with a friend or we do host one of these narrative things, I always like for my stuff to do something, whether it's like, oh, why is my army here fighting?
Yes.
At the start of the campaign, when everybody signs up and whatnot, why is my army involved in this conflict and whatnot? And as you all will come to know, I really like the Seraphon and the Lizardman from Age of Sigmar, and just any chance I can incorporate any sort of like lore or whatnot, or if this was real life, how would they approach it and whatnot. So it's just always cool because it keeps me tied in with the game as much as like I like the game for the rules and the models. The lore is also it's probably as big a part, if not sometimes is bigger than the actual hobby itself.
No, I think you're spot on. You checked all the boxes I have for Sigmar and 40K here. Just like, why are we fighting? Sure, we're two armies. What, do we just accidentally run into each other on this battlefield? No, like, okay, so why are your Seraphon coming at my Soulblight Gravelords? Like, or vice versa. Like, what is the point here? What are these objectives? Is this just a dot on a map? No. Like, what? Let's figure it out. Do you have named characters? Like, have you named any of your Seraphon heroes?
So I was wanting to name them in like the Nahuatl, which is like the Aztec, that was the ancient Aztec language. So I wanted to do it that way, but that's extremely hard because it's not like their names are like, as much as their names are more like descriptions of someone. So like this guy could be like, oh, he's the king of the bird who flies in the sky, and then you got a big ass cool sounding name.
Yeah.
But you have to decipher or decode this entire word that it's more like a sentence describing the person than it is like an actual name.
Sure.
So that's cool. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
That's a big ask for yourself, but I like it.
I'm just making up names, but adding a little bit of like the TLI that makes like a specific sound or whatnot, or at least so it sounds authentic.
That's rad. Yeah, I think that's a big thing too with 40K and Sigmar that just gets overlooked is you have this army, you've built them, and look, some of the heroes are already named. Like they just are. It's not just generic, Space Marine Lieutenant. It's, it could be Rogel Dorn, it could be you're playing freaking Marnius Calgar or whatever. But I love writing lore for my army and knowing like that's Valora Stonesong. She's not just a vampire lord. She has a backstory and all this and that, which is, one of the nerdiest things you could do is like give backstory to your toy soldiers. But it's fun. Yeah. Brett, what do you got? Do you have anything that you like to see when you're playing board games just to enhance stuff? Or like specifically Holotype enhancements?
Well, I guess Holotype would be, and this kind of goes for any board game that I'm really into, is like getting the components really nice and tight and fit in the box nice. Then having, and a lot of that is like just designing the, trays, how I want to get components. And a lot of it is lately like 3D printing to be like, this will be the best, little tray that can dish out everything. Or when I'm giving it to somebody, they get all their stuff in one little component thing. I saw someone just at the board game night the other day here had just a really small card game. I think it was Scout.
Okay.
And her husband had printed out this little 3D thing that held all the components and all the card, and it had a little magnet that you had a little stick so you could pick it up real easy.
Wow.
And I was like, that's amazing. Like, it doesn't change the game at all, but there's some satisfaction of just like, that's a really nice design to hold all my stuff, make it easily accessible and stuff. So, and that going to the extreme when I play like Gloomhaven and stuff, which is that RPG. You've got just like cardboard for days because it's your legacy and you're building your characters and they're getting more powerful and you're basically, dungeon delving. I'm all about like having the terrain for that. And that's really big. That's why I got a 3D printer and that's why I got a resin printer. So I started making, they had their, miniatures of Gloomhaven Kickstarter, but, who knows when I'll actually get those. So when we were playing a ton of Gloomhaven, I was printing out all these free 3D models online with my resin printer and making, all these little holders. So I always put like a magnetic, a piece of metal washer in the base. And the bases in that game, you want them numbered. So I made custom numbered bases. So there was 1 through 6 if there were 6 of them.
Sure.
And then I made these little custom trays with magnets in them so that when you put your minis in there, it was like...
It'll stay.
Nice. No matter... Because, I'm always dropping stuff or putting it in the car and you don't want them to,
Yeah.
So that kind of thing is what I've been up to with that stuff.
That's huge too, because that's something Mike and I get on games about, like, when you try and put it back and all the components are just kind of flopped around in the box, like that doesn't help anything and things are going to get broken and like, guys, game designers, producers, game companies, please make inserts in the box that fit the components when sleeved as well.
Oh, I have a very specific thing on this because I'm coming from the publishing side now with I've done the manufacturing of game trays and dealing with the, going back and forth with the manufacturers because what they really care about a lot of the times is making sure that like when that stuff's in the box, it comes and there's nothing damaged so they don't have to have a,
Sure.
You don't want to have to replace stuff and that kind of stuff. So with Holotype, we wanted a tray that like all the fossil cubes fit in their own thing, all the player, things had enough, all the cards were there, and they were big enough for sleeves. And
they argued because they didn't want to like.
Yeah, because they're like, it's around. Like, well, this will be like, no, if people want to sleeve their cards, it has to be at least this big and this kind of thing. So even with like the last expansion, I went back 3 times with the company because I'm like, if they're sleeved, this isn't going to be deep enough, this tray, right? And their engineering side was like, no, it's fine. I did the calculation. I'm like, I'm telling you, I've got enough of cards sleeved that for in the game. I've measured it with a caliper. I know what it needs to be. He's like, no, this is going to be. I've did the math. I'm like, all right, send the print sample. And then sure enough, the print sample comes, and what am I doing? I'm taking pictures of the cards not fitting because the sleeves, they don't perfectly compress. They're not. They have some air in them, especially the cards at the top, right?
Yeah.
So there's 10 cards sliding around on the top because the tray's not deep enough. And there was plenty of room, so I don't understand just take it to the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's, And I think I've seen games that I'm just like, come on, guys. It's the tray, it's a penny. Like just, it's a vacuum form tray. Just design something that holds all your stuff.
Yeah. That is a better gaming experience thing too, because then you look at a box that everything's just scattered and they're like, do I really want to drag that out?
Right.
Do I really want to play that? Or put it away?
Yeah, and we even included 10 baggies in the box that already have a hole in them, so there's no air. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's they were like, how much, for 10 baggies? They're like, oh, it increases a penny.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah. And then you see stuff on like BGG or wherever, like guys are doing, cardboard cutouts or inserts rather. You can buy inserts. Go7 Gaming is one. There's a little plug there for them. Whatever. I have all their stuff for mansions and some of my LCGs. Like they make these inserts, but again, like guys, just if you're making the game, make it fit in the box. Like Brett's saying, there it is. But I've got most of my games have like custom inserts or something just because it makes it so much easier. And you've spent $80 on this game or whatever. It's an investment.
Yeah.
Take care of your investment. Yeah.
Yeah. Make it easy to table.
Yeah. Mike, do you have anything? I've got my nerd list here that I could just read off, but what makes a game better for you?
Sour cream and onion chips with some dip, man. Some beef jerky, some peanut butter. Get some Haagen-Dazs ice cream bars, a whole lot of hot. Make sure chocolate. Gotta have chocolate, man. Some popcorn, red popcorn, graham crackers. graham crackers with the marshmallows, the little marshmallows, and little chocolate bars, and we'll make some s'mores, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yo.
Also, celery, grape jelly, Captain Crunch with the little crunch berries. Pizzas, we need 2 big pizzas, man. Everything on them with water, a whole lot of water, and Funyuns.
Wait, that makes everything better.
This is how we do it. I don't know. I feel like when we've played, what's the name of it? Battlestar Galactica with one of my play groups, we've had the show going the whole time.
Oh,
so
nice.
like,
Cool.
And you can't watch the entirety of the show while you're playing a board game, but it's still just kind of nice that like, oh, you hear the Bear McCreary music in the background, like, oh yeah, I haven't heard this in like a decade, but it's still rad.
Yeah.
You had like Lord of the Rings music on when we were playing
always
that.
whenever we're playing.
I think music is a lot of it. Like when we were playing Star Wars campaign a couple years ago, my DM would pull out the music at the appropriate times. Like, oh, we're about to have a fight. Here comes Duel of the Fates. My DM for BattleTech would play fight music as we were like, we had an arena match, and he'd play fight music as we were like entering the arena.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. I don't know. I was actually intrigued with your answer because I never would have thought of that. Like, I don't consider myself one to do homework for games, but I do like having my stuff nicely like organized where like, no, I've got a box for the things for BattleTech. I've got another box for my tokens for Magic. Right. I've got another bag of dice for this. Like, so I do a lot of that. And like, I don't know, the one thing that I'd say carries through most of my gaming is I play really thematically.
Yes.
I don't really, I play to win, but I don't play smart to win. I just, oh, that's cool. I want to do that thing.
Yeah.
And then like, I'm going to build my whole whatever around that idea. Yeah. I really go deep on, oh, we're building insects. I don't care if they're bad, and I don't care if we don't have good insects right now. Like, I'm going to build them, and where's all the changelings? You know, I like building the theme in BattleTech. I play Clan Wolf and then Clan Star Adder, and I don't know. I've played other things, but those are what I want to play because yeah,
that's good. And if you can play against somebody who's also kind of feeling that thematic vibe, like you were saying, Michael, too, it's more enjoyable. Like if you and I were to get the table going and go, okay, you're Seraphon versus my Soul Blight, like what's the thematic vibe versus me just being like, okay, mechanically this does this, and then I'm gonna table you, and like you're not running uphill, you're not pushing upstream or anything like that. There's an even flow of there's a Pearl Jam pun right there. Even flow of like we are on the same page of why this is happening, and there's a little bit more fun to it versus just kind of what's the meta, what's happening mechanically. Yeah. So I've got a list here of a bunch of different things that I like to do with some of my favorite games. And even if you guys don't play these games, like maybe it just sparks something that can give you an idea for something that you do love to play. And what we want is that you guys just love the games you play the games you love, and play them with the people you love. And hopefully they take that on too, and you guys have better gaming experiences. So one of my favorites, Fury of Dracula, phenomenal game, partially co-op, 4v1. You've got 4 investigators hunting and searching for Dracula across Europe. One player is Dracula. Guess who that is when it's at my table? Yeah, yeah. But I like to put on the Wojciech Kilar score. I think that's how you pronounce it. From Bram Stoker's Dracula. Play it. Like, get the lights dim a little bit if you can. I've got the flickery candlelight kind of stuff. As long as you can read the card, we're good. Get the vibe. It's fun. I'll play also like the Interview with the Vampire score by Elliot Goldenthal. It's phenomenal. But I do house rule this game. I do have a house rule for this, is that because the odds are pretty stacked in Dracula's favor to win this game, I give the investigators, aka the players, an extra starting card at the beginning of the game. So you start with an item and an event, and I'll give them that at the beginning of the game itself. Just here's a leg up. You're prepared. You know what you're doing. This isn't like, oh, what? Dracula's still alive? We're running around. You know, let's go find him, and here's a little bit of an edge. It also pushes the Dracula player to really try a little bit harder as well, because you've got 4v1 now. So house rule, it's kind of fun. We mentioned The Thing, of course, the Ennio Morricone score, which, by the way, was apparently mostly written by John Carpenter. Mostly. But it's a credit thing. But yeah, play the score for that. I once had so the first player token is a little cardboard revolver. I had a cap gun. I had a cap gun painted and everything that we would pass around. It's just something funnier, like heavier to hold rather than like, here you go, and slide the token across. And everybody does the same thing. You take it, your first player, and you start pointing it around, and then everybody goes, I'm the captain now. Look at me. I'm the captain now. Everybody. Lord of the Rings, we mentioned the LCG. You play the Howard Shore original score. Phenomenal. I've got play mats and stuff, and the center play mat actually has spaces for the encounter deck, for the discard pile, for the quests and everything. That seems to help. Sigmar and 40K, we talked about that. Two other big ones I like to play are the Game of Thrones board game. Have you played this?
Yep.
Yeah. That's always one it's such a heavy game. It's hard to teach other players, you know. But if they know Game of Thrones, it's a little bit easier to get them in.
Yeah.
You know. I love that game. I think it plays weird at 3. I think it plays great at 5 to 6. But you get the music on, of course, as we said. But one thing is it's so nerdy. I will address people as their house.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'll be like, okay, Brett Baratheon, it's your turn. What are you doing? Like, Mike Lannister, what do you got? Michael Martell, what are you doing? Like, okay. And just weirdly, it's a habit. I will address people from their house name throughout the game just to take on that role. But the thing I haven't done that I want to do for that is there's 3 positions of influence in that game. There's the crown. So you're like the Iron Throne. Sorry, it's the Iron Throne. And you've got the Valerian Steel Blade and the Messenger Raven. Those are the 3 things you get to bid on. So instead of just taking the little token, what I want to do is get like a lawn chair and like just glue a ton of plastic swords to it or something like that. Or a crown and like, okay, Mike, you're holding that token. You're sitting in that chair as long as you've got it. You've got the Iron Throne that's basically just plastic and glue and spray paint. Or you're wearing the crown. As long as you are that, you're getting this item. Oh, Valerian Steel Blade. Good, Brett. Here's your sword. You are now holding this actual sword for the rest of the game as long as you have this token. And then, Michael, here's a fake bird that you have to perch on your shoulder. There it is, man. You get this fake raven to throw around. I haven't done it
I like
yet.
that because then you're not looking at a token. You're just like, oh, obviously he's wearing the crown.
Yeah, well, it's not like, wait, who's got the sword again? No,
Yeah.
you're pointing it right at me.
Yeah.
I know you can do a +1 on this. Yeah. And then lastly, probably my favorite board game, Mansions of Madness. It's one of my all-time favorites. They kind of did this in 2nd edition. 1st edition, it was like we were talking on message boards, like, what do you guys do? Dim the lights. We play music. We read the flavor text, all that stuff. And, you know, I even thought about recording voiceovers for some of the missions or scenarios and whatnot. And then they did that in 2nd edition because it's app-driven. So that's rad. But one thing I always have for that game is read your character's backstory. On your character card, you flip it over and it says who they are and why they're in this. So you know your character thematically versus like, oh, once per game they can do this. Oh, they've got 7 health. Oh, they've got this. No, like who is this and why are they into the mythos? Deep dive a little bit. It's fun. And I think some games have that too, mechanic where you can kind of flip over and see who is your daddy. And what does he do?
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Yeah. Anything you guys want to add on the enhancement of board games or just games in general? Brett, you're the pro here. We're going to defer to you.
No, I would say the interesting one that I've been using lately, just because, and this is out of necessity, is because we had friends that we were playing D&D, and then 2 of them moved to different parts of the state, and it was like, okay, how do we still, run the Curse of Strahd while we're trying to, finish that up? Yeah, so that one, out Owlbear Rodeo is like an amazing free online virtual tabletop.
Did you say Owlbear Rodeo?
Owlbear Rodeo.
That's
Isn't that a great name,
That
right?
is a great name.
Everybody wants to ride an
Good
owlbear.
on them, man.
Right?
Go
so
for it.
it's just a free website, and you can go there and upload maps and tokens and stuff like that. And the user interface is just so simple and easy to get and intuitive that it was like I was able to get stuff up and running within like half an hour before the game. And then no one had to install anything. It's just a link you give people, because we do everything through Discord for voice chat. And then you just give them a link and they click on it and it just, goes right to the website, and it's fog and all that stuff. And really, like, that's been huge for keeping that gaming group going and not having the, like, how do we keep the momentum going when people move away?
Yeah, that's a good one, especially, when we were doing pandemic gaming and stuff in 2020, 2021, like, how do you continue a game group that's split even though you're in the same city? So Owlbear Rodeo?
Owlbear Rodeo.
Owlbear Rodeo.
Yeah.
There you go.
Really well done.
Yeah. Well, and with D&D stuff too, that's something we actually missed, but like creating items or a map or something, or like a coin, whatever you find, like, hey, instead of just here's a picture of it, like, can you make it actually?
Yeah. And for Curse of Strahd, I went a little crazy because I was just like, I want to go see what's available on Etsy. And there's some amazing stuff on Etsy. Yeah, just like, the players get this handout of a deed, someone's made it, and like, it's like, okay, well, print it out, weather it. Someone, if you want to do it on your own, or someone obviously has done it and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was fun when they like found that document to just go, okay, here it is.
Yeah.
And then realized that I picked a font that was impossible for them to read.
What is this?
Yeah, as they're reading it, I'm like correcting every, fourth word for them, because it's, like, oh, well, that didn't work as well. I thought it was cool.
That's good. Okay, to close out the episode, we got just a couple Q&A questions here that came through we got Discord, Instagram, Facebook. You can just drop us a line at shop@funkatronicrex.com. Please get at us. If you've got something that you like to do for your board gaming experiences that enhance it, or a house rule or whatever, let us know. We want to know. We will read these out. If they're fun and unique and something we didn't think of, sure, please let us know, and we'll jump them on the next few episodes probably. But we've got some questions here. Brett, this is for you. Favorite funk memories?
Favorite funk memories? Oh, wow. Lots. Well, meeting Lex here and just all that whole group, was just amazing. So Susan, Saul, all those people, like, that was just such a good group of people to meet. And like, anytime whoever you played with, you were having fun. So it wasn't like super clicky where you're like, oh, I only play with these three people, that kind of thing. It was just like everybody grabs people like, hey, you want to play this? Sure. That kind of stuff. Some of the fun ones, like very first, we used to always end the night with like Secret Hitler. And that was just like, that was just fun because, people are yelling and screaming and accusing people of doing something, and that's always fun.
If you're not yelling in that game, you're not playing it right.
Not at all. And you're like, that's not me. And you're just like, I know it's you, that kind of thing. So I love those like social deductions ones where that'll happen. And then like just recently we were doing Ready, Set, Bet, I think it's called.
Oh, is that the horse racing game?
Yeah, it's like a horse betting racing game.
They were like
screaming.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, and there's an app that can also go with it instead of rolling the dice, I believe. And so letting the app tell you every second which horse went, and you're watching it, and everybody's screaming and slapping their bets down. It was just like, that was a blast.
But you guys were like cheering on, they're yelling at this screen like,
at some point,
on, baby,
right,
run.
Because at some point, like once three horses make it past this red line, you can't bet anymore. So then you're just waiting, and you're just like, and it's like, oh, they're almost there. It's like, no. Because I was like, I didn't know what I was doing on the first one. So I'm just like, looks like 8's ahead. I'm going to put all my money on 8, right? Like, because you have all these different spots. So all my money's on 8. I'm not like divesting it all. It's horrible. And it's just like, not winning. I'm just like, no! And then it like rolls like 5 times in a row, 8 or something like that, and it just comes from behind and wins, and I'm just like screaming because like I was gonna lose all my money, and I came out with the win. So yeah, that one's blast.
That's good. And then how did you jump into the Funk family? Like who introduced you to Funkatronic Rex? Why'd you get shanghaied into this group?
I think I was just driving around. I was new to the area, and I was just driving around to all the different, gaming stores and just checking it out, and came to this one and just, met the staff, and they were really cool. And then when I found out that there was a board game night, then I came to that, and it was just like, from then on, it's just been like great. All the people here.
Yeah. Well, we so appreciate you. You've been a huge part of this community, you and Lex, and obviously Holotype being kind of a fun showcase focal point for the store as well. We take pride in our little part that we got to play in your guys' story.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for being here as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen. I've got one last question, rapid fire, and then we're going to get to the closing. Favorite dinosaur?
I know. Is the ankylosaur the one with the big tail thing?
Yeah.
That tail hammer is rad. I'm a truck, and you got too close, sucker. Ankylosaur.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Parasaurolophus.
What the what?
Oh, nice.
Parasaurolophus. Got the big crest.
Oh, the thing, yeah.
Yep.
Funny enough, that is my favorite one as well.
Is it really?
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Is that thing
was
like
the
some kind of
weakest hi-fi.
like sound apparatus?
Yeah,
that
I think
makes
it's the whole
horn?
nasal cavity, and that's
Yeah.
what it would make sounds with.
Yep. Parasaurolophus.
Yeah.
Brett, what do you got?
Mine's actually not a dinosaur; it's a marine reptile. So that distinction in the game is important because, if people that are into paleontology, it's like the things that swam were not dinosaurs, and like pterosaurs that fly aren't that kind of thing.
Like a Dimetrodon is not a dinosaur.
Yeah, it's not. It's
Wait,
like
a Dimetrodon, the one with the big sailback?
Not a dinosaur.
Why is that not a
It
dinosaur?
was before the time period, right?
Genetically speaking, it has closer relation to other species, right? Than dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's I can't remember if it's an anapsid versus a diapsid or some. There's something in cladistics that family branched off earlier and went that way, and then dinosaurs went the other way.
We just got so much smarter on this podcast.
Cladistics.
Level up, baby.
Yeah, going back to your thing where people don't read the card, like in Holotype, names of objective cards are like systematics or cladistics or taxonomy and stuff. And it was all stuff that we wanted to bring the science in. Doesn't matter for gameplay.
Sure.
But it's just, it's
flavor.
Yeah, it is. Cool. It's flavor.
So then what is your favorite non-dinosaur?
Non-dinosaur? The Elasmosaurus.
Elasmosaurus.
Yeah, the big long neck.
That's the long neck swimmer. So
Nessie.
Nessie, yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
Interesting.
Dig it. Well,
wait. I have to ask. What I mean, if that's your favorite dinosaur, what are your thoughts on Nessie? Hoax?
Yeah. I wish.
Sure.
Yeah.
Could be something, probably not a dinosaur.
Definitely not. And I think didn't they come out and like say that the photo
the
was
classic
hoax?
Nessie photos are all hoaxes. Yeah,
I mean, go swimming and stick your arm up.
Yeah.
That's what that one looks like, right?
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying,
how cool would it be that that got?
I was hoping you were going to say, "Oh yeah, it's real," just for the sake that it's like somebody believing in Santa Claus. I'm like, yes, I hope for you.
Bigfoot for sure.
I hope you're right.
Sure.
It's like the Machilium membe from Africa.
Dude.
What?
Machilium membe. There's a it's like rumored that there's a dinosaur, probably some sort of sauropod, living in Africa.
The Congo.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy what survived and what didn't. So why not?
Yeah.
What? And you got Bigfoot.
Bigfoot,
come
baby.
on.
Look, I'm all about your cryptozoology, but now I think you're just making stuff up.
No. Machilium membe.
There was a movie in the 80s about it, wasn't there?
It was called it was something weird like Baby or something like that.
Yeah,
Is it?
I think it was
I think
Baby.
so. And it's they go in the Congo and they find like this.
No, Baby the Lost Dinosaur was like a brontosaurus. That was like a little. That wasn't a Mankili, whatever you said.
It's rumored that the Machilium membe is probably
Machilium membe.
Yeah, it's like a long neck.
Yeah. So it would have been.
Is that a sauropod?
Yep.
Yeah. Take that, Mike.
I'm not disagreeing. I just think you're all full of shit.
All right, with that, thank you guys so much. Brett, thank you again. Can't thank you enough
Pleasure.
for being here.
Loved
We're going to
it.
get you and Lex on at some point. We'll talk about game development. Michael, pleasure as always. Mike?
Machilium membe. Right?
Isn't that the soccer player?
No, that's Mbappe, right?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Thank you for listening to the Funkatronic Rex podcast. You can find more of the funk at funkatronicrex.com, Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. If you'd like to support us and the shop, please join us on Patreon by becoming a patron of the funk. if you're in the Phoenix area, please swing by. Come check us out. We would love to meet you and get a game in. You can also reach us by sending an email to shop@funkatronicrex.com. Stay up, stay true, and don't forget, stay funky.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I did my job.
Yeah.
You got your 3 gummy bears. You're good.
You know.
Which, by the way, do you know what flavor green is? Did we talk about
Lime?
this? Nope. No. You would think, right?
Right.
Strawberry.
What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying.
Really?
Yeah. All these years I've been avoiding green because, like, it's just lime.
Oops.
Nope.
Okay, so red's cherry then.
Nope.
No, red's raspberry.
Raspberry? That's a flavor?
Tastes like strawberry.
Read your bears.
Those people in the Black Forest in Germany, they have some weird flavors over there.
I don't know how we got on this, but on the back, you could see it. Yeah, it's like green as strawberry.
Oh, and it tells you.
Yeah. But we've just assumed our entire lives, and we were wrong.